Welcome back to another video. Now, today's video, we are going to get onto the topic of UFC 325, which is going down with the main event of Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2. Now, we're going to predict the main card. Now, on UFC 324, which we were blessed with the main card of Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje, who Justin Gaethje did come out as the winner over a 5-round decision. Now, on that last one, we predicted 5 out of 5 in the main card right. As in winners. Now, in this time, we are just going to predict the winners rather than the method. So, we're going to start off with Quillan Salkid versus Jamie Mullarkey. Now, this one is kind of interesting for me because Quillan is coming from a highlight reel knockout, which I feel like is going to give him a massive boost in confidence, a massive boost. So, I'm actually going to lock in Quillan on this one. I'm going to lock in Quillan to beat Mullarkey. And then the next bout, we have Tai Tuivasa versus Thaleson Teixeira. Now, Tai Tuivasa has kind of been up and down in the heavyweight division, but he has been fighting the top of the contenders, so he's had a hard time. Thaleson Teixeira is like very hungry. Like he's coming in quite cold, I think. Like even in the press conference, his replies were very short but very firm. And I feel like he's going to be a very tough operator for Tai Tuivasa, but I feel like Tai Tuivasa is going to play to the crowd. Now, even in the press conference, that was electric. I feel like in the fight, he's probably going to get the same reception, but louder. So I feel like he's going to play to that. Hopefully, he doesn't gas out in the first 2 rounds, and he does get him out of there in the first round. So I'm going to lock in Tai Tuivasa with that one. And then the next up, we have Rafael Fiziev, however you want to pronounce it, versus Mauricio Rufy. Now, Mauricio Rufy's been training with Alexander Volkanovski, which will have its pluses. And he has some very silk kicks with his spinning kicks, but I feel like his timing is actually really well when it comes to the stand-up. And he does have quite a good ground game, obviously coming from the Brazilian background. But Rafael Fiziev, I don't know what it is. Every time I count him out, he proves me wrong. But then when I count him in, he proves me right. Wait, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. When I count him in, he always loses. But when I don't, he always wins. So I'm actually going to say Rafael Fiziev is going to win this one. I'm going to lock that one in. Now, next up, we have Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, this fight is going to be great. It could go either way. If Benoit Saint-Denis decides to stand and exchange with Dan Hooker, I feel like it's going to be a very long night for Saint-Denis. And it's going to be a Dan Hooker win. However, I do feel like that will happen. I feel like that will have a stand-up trade-off. And I feel like Dan Hooker will get the better of him. But then Benoit Saint-Denis will choose to shoot for the takedown, get Dan Hooker on his back, and then he will get a submission win. So in that scenario, I'm going to go Benoit Saint-Denis to get the win on this one. And now we have the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Now, Diego Lopez is a very good fighter, very tough operator, and I feel like I did have him win in the first one, but Alexander Volkanovski proved levels. Like, there's a lot of acknowledgement into this one. Like, you do have to use your brain when it comes to fighting at this top level, especially when it comes to fighting Volk. And I feel like that's where Diego Lopez kind of lacked. I don't think he was overlooking him, but I feel like he underestimated him. I feel like he was going to go in there and blow Volkanovski out of there. Pause. I feel like he was going to go in there and dominate. I feel like he was going to go in there and beat Volkanovski quite easily, but that wasn't the case. However, I do feel like from that first fight and going 5 rounds with Volkanovski, I do feel like Diego Lopez might have his number right now. Volkanovski is still very skilled and very tricky to prepare for. However, Ilia Topuria knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev, I know he's a lightweight, knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. I feel like Diego Lopez, who has shared 5 rounds with Volkanovski, might have downloaded a way to beat Alexander Volkanovski with a knockout. I feel like he may have not been able to do that in the present time because it was just tricky. He weren't expecting a tricky fight from Volkanovski, which I don't know why, if that was the case. But I feel like he's more calm and composed now. I feel like he's going to be a more professional about it and prepare for him. Use what he didn't know in the first fight that Alexander Volkanovski would have came into. I feel like that's going to be a big part, and I feel like because of this, Diego Lopez is going to get the win. It's crazy. It's crazy. This fight can literally go two ways. It can either go Volkanovski the same way. He'll stand up, strike. He'll do what he do. He'll do what he does best. But then when things get tough, he will take him down and he'll dominate. He'll just use his transitions to control the fight, and every time he gets back up, he'll shoot him back down. Hit him with a few strikes when they scramble, and then get back up. Hit him with a few strikes, bring him back down. I feel like that's what Volkanovski could do, and he can do, and he definitely could, like would do. But Diego Lopez, give that man time. Give that man time with you to find a finish, and he will find one. I feel like that's where it's gonna. I feel like that's where this fight's gonna lead. This is the only way I can really feel about this fight. I feel like Diego Lopez will get the win by a knockout or a TKO. I feel like he just needed I feel like he needed time with Volkanovski, and I feel like he had that. I feel like even if he had a further 25 minutes with Volkanovski in that first fight after the 5 rounds, I feel like if he had another 5 rounds with Volkanovski, I don't feel like he would have got the knockout at that point. But I feel like going off the loss and downloading what he did get from that fight, I feel like he might actually do enough here to get the stoppage over Volk. And I'm not going to complain because I do like Diego Lopez. And I do like these foreign fighters who come in that do want to learn English and to be able to be promoted. Like, it's hard to promote a fighter that doesn't connect with the fans who isn't able to speak to them. I know they've got translators, but it doesn't feel the same. Whereas Diego Lopez, he really does try to communicate with the fans and the reporters, etc. So I would not complain if I saw him as a champion. Let's be honest, and he is a hell of a fighter. I'm excited for this one. Let me know what you think. Who have you got winning from main card, bottom to top? Let me know down below. And as always, thank you for coming across another video, and I will catch you at the next one.